Tahitian culture is very much a Polynesian culture. Very open, very loving, very, in Hawaii they say it's the spirit of aloha. Tahiti, they have the word arofa or aroha, which is, it's the same word, but, meaning love, charity. And that's very much alive. It's not uncommon for missionaries to go tracting and go out, and when you go, instead of knocking on doors, you just ride your bike or pull up to a house and you just walk up close and you yell out "Yorana," which means hello, and then somebody will hear you and come out and say, they'll always greet you very politely, very kind. And often, especially even if they're not members, if they recognize the missionaries, often if it's around mealtime, they'll say "Yorana mai tama'a," which means come and eat. So, very first meeting with them is they're inviting you to their table to eat, and that's a very common thing. It's not uncommon to be overfed, because there are a lot of members and they do like to invite the missionaries in, but also because there are just a lot of people there who, that's what they do, is they invite people to their home, sit down and eat. We're having dinner, everyone's eating, come eat with us. Welcome to our home, you're always welcome here. Which can pose problems for missionary work, because a lot of times you'll get a lot of investigators who will take the lessons continuously and invite you to their home every week, and you'll go back every week thinking that you're making progress, and really they're just happy to have somebody come visit you and visit them in their home. And I remember teaching one guy who we taught him for weeks and weeks and weeks in Tahitian, and we would ask him about Joseph Smith and go over the restoration, and he'd say, "Oh yeah, absolutely, I agree. And then we'd get to the end and he'd say, "Oh no, but thank you for coming. Well, will you come to church with us?" "Oh, well, I have my church and everything that you're telling me is true, but thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Yes, come back next week. That would be great." And it's just that kind of spirit of welcoming, everybody come into our home and you're part of our family, which was a really huge blessing for me to learn. It's that charity and pure love of Christ that we learn about in the scriptures, that they really live, not just in the church, but as a culture, as a people. And like I said, that's one of the challenges of missionary work there, is overcoming that and knowing when you have true conversion and when somebody's just being charitable and nice and inviting you in. It can be difficult for young missionaries to adapt to that, especially as they serve with Tahitian companions. It's something that I think is really important for missionaries to learn, and I had a lot of hard lessons that I learned at the beginning and throughout my mission of understanding that love and that concern, but that concern often will lead to what, especially as Americans, we live very regimented lives. And so while mission rules may seem difficult, they're not as difficult for us to live, because we are very regimented, and for the most part, where we've grown up with regimented schedules, and you do this at this time and you do these things and here are the rules. And Polynesians are much more relaxed, and so mission rules can be very difficult, especially for Tahitian missionaries that are in their home. I served with companions who were serving in their home stake. One who was serving in a ward that he had previously lived in when he was a teenager. And so that can prove to be very challenging to focus on missionary work. And then on top of that, you throw in a lot of mission rules that don't seem to apply to a Polynesian culture. Like in the MTC, they told us, make sure that you never you stay as far away from the beach as you can, and never eat shellfish and never eat uncooked fish. And it's like, that is like, out of my areas, probably 85% of them, I was living on the beach, and a good portion of their diet is raw fish. And so it's like, there are a lot of mission rules that you have to remember may not apply directly to your mission. And that's, I think, any mission around the world, where you're going to have specific challenges and specific things that you have to adapt to. You have to be willing to adapt to. Knowing that ahead of time will allow you to be open to, okay, things may not be quite as what I expected them to be on a mission, but there are going to be other things, other blessings, like learning charity and love in ways that you wouldn't other places.